Hello and welcome again. This is Steve's Long Stay Workshop, where sets come to look at when they've been abused or let go elsewhere. This is a Hacker Herald type RP17. Rights are missing. I've given the top a very brief one. It's come up fairly well. But in the back here, I want to take off the battery clips because they were rusty. There's rust inside it, but that is all cleared out. So this is our next project and the next thing to get going. These are nice sets when they work. Unlike the Roberts sets, this particular one actually puts the AF117s. Yes, it's got the AF117s on the board here. So the board comes out and we swap them over if we need to do. I've looked at them offline with the meter, and I think they will need to be replaced here. So and of course the handle, by the way, came in 3 pieces, so that we've got to do as well. So this is the next thing we've got to do. And always with things like this in this state with valve radios, not so much with transistors but valve radios, it's always worth having a look around before you power it. I'm doing it here because of course I've not got 18 volts in batteries, or I could probably make it up here, but have a look. On the bottom here they've got the usual Hacker power amp. With the Hacker set, the 2 boards, the power of course PAIR power is 18 volts, 2 PP3s, which are there. AF audio is here. There's a board at the bottom here. IF, I and R, RF are here, going across from there across to there. Okay, it's long wave and medium wave, and I reckon this one could be going quite well. We'll have a look and see. But I always wonder how sets get in the state this was in. It really was dreadful. I'm giving it a clean. If you look at the cabinet now, you see under light here, that's what it's come up to. That's the colour it was. Look at the difference. I mean that. I don't know what to do with handle yet, but I might possibly. But if I can't get the right handle for it, I'll put something else that will do. But that, no, just no. So let's get into it and have a look, shall we? And first thing we'll do is power it and see what happens, if anything. This was in a terrible state when it got to me. It's sat here for a bit and I've, you know, sometimes you get to us and you look at it and you think, no, put it down. This is one of these sort of jobs. So with the coronavirus in the air, I thought, well, I'll put it on the bench and have a look, and at least we can listen to Radio 4 and 5 Live and the progress of these bugs throughout the country in comfort and style, even though these at 18 volts they do take rather a lot. So let's see what happens. Right, the setting of course, as we know, is an RP17, that's a Hacker Mini Herald. They run on 2 PP9 batteries or similar, 18 volts. Now I've got the PP9s coming, but for now I'm going to run it off some PP3s, and I've got some battery terminals here to run them off, so we should be able to get something out of it using those. Where the other PP3's got to. There we are, thank you. So first thing we do is get some of the Waco things. These are very handy, by the way. I've used them before. They're very good. If like me, you've only got one hand and you don't want it, and the piece you can't solder, you just put the wires in, press them down, and before you know it, that's it. You've got a connection which is as good as, in some cases better than soldered. So they're very, very much worth having of these. Very much having. A bit difficult to do with one hand, but I seem to manage, so manage I will. So the wire comes out, stays in one place. There we are. Right, that's that one. There's that one in. Right. And now this one goes into the other half. These actually were used a lot in the house wiring trade. They still are. They were pretty damn good inventions at the time, actually. So they're very, very much worth using. Now, while I'm doing this, by the way, to take in mind of the fact that with one hand things can be difficult, and people do tend to laugh at me for that. I wish they wouldn't, but I'm afraid it's the way of the world. I found these actually very good for this. Now, with a set like this, sometimes making a plan as how you're going to go forward with it is a good idea. In this case, with these, I've ordered today some PP9 battery clips, obviously. I've also ordered, and promised me you won't laugh, off eBay for about 3 quid, a woman's leather dress belt, a red. Now, don't worry, I'm not going that way, no way. But of course, a belt is a belt, and a belt, of course, is made of the same stuff that the handles on these are. So, if we can't get a handle for it, which is looking very much the case, then a dress belt can be used to make a handle. And so when that comes, of course, I will be making a handle out of it. So in this business, it's surprising what you use where from. Hobbycraft is one place where I sometimes go for bits and pieces, and also any car garage. If you're working with TV sets, of course, and the DHT cable, that is the place to go. That's one other possibility for you, by the way. So basically, what's out there, use what's there. You know, if you can't get something exactly right, make it yourself, get it nearly right. Which also means, by the way, that it will also make suitable for you in another way too, of course, because it is, as they say, that way inclined. So, any minute from now, what I'm going to do first of all with this is switch it on and get what's called a baseline, where it starts from when it comes in, and also a look to see what's to be done and what doesn't. Like I said, this set has AF117s in. Now, AF117s, 115s, 114s, 116s, 117s, not 118s, they're different transistors, by the way. There was a problem at the time with the metal, but only on some of them, not on all, just on some. And the very early equivalent of these was the OC171. Now the 171, zero meant zero heaters because there's no volts on the heater, you see. And so basically the transistors were done the valve way. So you know, 0 for zero heaters and C for a triode. 8 of course, or 9 or whatever, and the transistor marking, and of course 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different triodes. Yeah, that's so the first ones were done in the same way because they came from Mullard, of course, and it was Mullard's numbering system that they used. You know, some people think I'm a geek, you know. I don't know why. Then of course I went on to the the AF117s, and then of course the next series along with the 127s, which didn't have the problem that the 117s did. Now, while the 117s did, some did and some didn't. A strong metal can grow. No, when you were at school, did you draw? Did you ever make alum crystals in the jar? Well, metals can form a crystal too. That is what happened with the RP17. Inside them, on some of them, the metal is used to house them will form discrete connection. It wasn't 100% right, and so for that reason they started to grow crystals inside, coming out of the case, aiming towards a transistor. And these transistors were of a metal, yes, and because they were of a metal, they will then short the case out to deck, of course. In the day, of course, one thing that engineers used to do, and it does work by the way, is to simply snip the screen lead. Again, it was done in the day. Leslie does talk about it in television magazine, so we know. And then from there, of course, other things were tried. By this time, of course, believe it or not, there were RP17 in space as well, which have not filled because, of course, for a reaction to take place, there must be air and oxygen, and there aren't in space, so it didn't happen. Although they were concerned about it at one time, enough actually to contact us vintage radio people and see what we could do about it, what we could suggest. So out there in space, miles and miles from anywhere, is, believe it or not, kids are not here, there is RP17 transistors, or equivalent, of course, with the same problem. And look, they then came to us for advice about what to do about it. That was several years ago, by the way. Paul Stenning, of course, at that point said to send them some pictures of inside of them to see what could be done. But I'm afraid at the time the answer was not very much, because they were, of course, too far away. And that, so far, has told us absolutely nothing. The set doesn't appear to be doing anything here. Nothing. Diddly square. Sod all. So at this point, I'll have a look around with the meter and see what we can find. For me, by the way, everything is up, so maybe at some point something may happen which makes us feel rather better about the whole situation. Again, it's hard to tell, isn't it? But there you go. Anyway, that's the story of the RP17 transistors and what we could do about them, if anything. So, we've got a set here that is absolutely sod all. Diddly square. Sod all. So what we'll do, negative is there, so that goes to there, so that must go to there, like so. And it should go to deck. Turn it off for now, right? And it should go to deck. Which it doesn't appear to. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Right, so it doesn't go anywhere it should. So we'll okay. Right, okay, so that means that so far this radio is doing sod all. Like me, I suppose, but there you go. Now, with a set like this has been abused quite a lot, so there could be anything wrong here, absolutely anything. I started at all the things which were obvious, but there could well be others, so I'll have a good look around and see what we can find in here, if anything. Right, well, when I've reconnected the batteries after making up the speaker leads properly, we have power. And for radio that was in this condition, it's doing rather well, as you will hear.
It works pretty well.
That's the medium wave band. Across the dial. And there's long waves going back.
Hard, and I think kids are the best because to them it's yet another challenge. I wish I had more.
Don't know.
Play a song to fit the mood. Perhaps I fall to pieces. Boom, boom. You beat me to it, Rhoda.
So there we are. It's working. Now, because it's making noise and working doesn't mean job is complete. There are one or two caps on this board that look as though they need changing. After all, this radio is several years old, and of course on the receiver board up top here, there's two, possibly three, that need to change as well. But all the AF117s are okay, and for that reason, I'm going to leave them. I know that people say change them, but as I've said with these AF117 transistors, some work, some don't. If they're still working, leave them. We can go later and change it if we need to, but the chances are in most cases they won't actually do anything apart from carry on working. So this radio is a goer, but it needs a lot done to it. Also in the post I've got PP9s rather than PP3s, which is on now, and connectors for them as well. So and like I said, a wave maker of a battery. So let's have a look at the circuit first of all, and look at what goes where, what we need, and of course get the soldering iron out, and then of course set up things like the quiescent current. Do the job properly, do it right, and this set will work for another 20 or 30 years. They really are good sets, these. Bit greedy on batteries, but all the same, they are good sets, and as you've heard, they work really, really well. I mean,
Thank you very much. Did more from Pete, Matt and myself.
this set is a good one. The capacitors in this have now been changed, and the next thing we do is test it and make sure it still works.
It hadn't been opened.
Which it does. That was radio forward, by the way, on long wave.
I didn't think SBN.
Medium wave works as well, by the way, and of course music stations, which is very, very good on this, by the way. I can't play over the air, so over here, so I'm working with Radio 4 on long wave tonight, which is a favourite of mine, shall we say. Right, anyway, next thing we do, of course, is check the quiescent currents and adjust if necessary. Now, with something like this, get the details, and before I go anything else, look at the circuit, which is there. That's the circuit. Look at the instructions. There. Both come from the manual, and of course the circuit itself is there. So find it where everything is before you start. First of all, connect the tertiary output meter, the output, the amplifier, having 50 connected to the speaker. Okay, well, but I might do that, I might not. That I don't know if that really that does matter in this case. Short circuit the input amplifier to earth. That is the negative is C1 to earth. So I need a lead for that. There you are, the lead. We've got one of those. See, it's a 10 ohm DC ammeter which we point to the test link, having first got the link. The link, by the way, is there, and you just put an ammeter, milliamp ammeter across it. There's milliammeter, and that's it there, which I use for that. And of course, you also get a 10 volt DC voltmeter or similar, which is junction to R13 and R14 to deck. So that's deck and R13 and R14, which is in the middle there, I think. Look at the circuit. If you're not sure, look and find it before you do. Very important, but very important to take that look and find it where everything is before you dig in. You might damage something, and of course you don't want to muck around. Oh yeah, so it's there, okay, so it's between there and deck, okay. Well, then of course, connect your 18 volt supply, which means I'll get some new battery because these are at 17.5 right now and it's not quite right. And adjust RV2, RV2 being, let's have a look. RV2 is this here, and adjust that for a reading of 4 milliamps, and of course adjust RV1, your midpoint reading of 8.9 volts. Okay, so that's R1 and R2. Adjust them to be a balance reading between the two, and then that is done. That's how you do it. Why is this important? Well, if an amplifier draws too much current, batteries don't last as long, and also not working to best suitability, so the radio is working to its best, so got to do it for that reason alone. So let's get on with it, shall we? And but first I'll also go and get some new batteries, so right there, I'll be back in about a second from now. Right, well, the amplifier of this radio is now connected up, have its resonant current adjusted correctly. It's quite simple to do. The link on the bulb which you cut, it's just look on the board, and you put a milliammeter in. I've got the flute connected up there, and the point on the board here which goes to us as well, for which you also connect as well here, which you do with this probe here, and of course the input's connected to deck. So let's go. .44 milliamps. Okay, we'll move it up a bit, like so. .36, okay, so it goes the other way, which we can also do. Like so, and that says 3.35 as well, so something isn't quite right here. Basically, it's got to go on until we get the right frequency here, the right milliampere current here, which we will get, but it takes a bit of time. So it's not a regular board on these. It's one of these. There you go. That's about 4 dB or so. Right, 4 milliamps or so on that. Right, now of course we go and we check for, we get that, not 9.65. That's a little bit high, so we take that down a touch, which we do here, like so. See what it is now. Okay, right. Again, you got to get the two right, but the two interact with each other. So you've got to do one, then the other, then one, then the other. Isn't life can be fun? These things easily set up in some ways, but of course not in others. So we have to be very patient and spend time to get it absolutely right, which again I'm trying to do here. That's about right. Okay, so that's all. Now go back to the new one, and we adjust that as well. Somebody here, by the way, is put paint on all the knobs, so it's a bit difficult, but we will manage. We will sort it. Like I said, these things take time to get right. These things always take time to get right, and so basically it's patience. Patience, which is something I don't have a right lot of, actually, I admit. And this business about this coronavirus isn't helping matters, actually, because certain people seem to think that it's okay to think that I don't know what I'm doing, but take up a bit with these things, and I do. So you know, it really isn't on. Right. Okay, right, we'll put that link back together and we'll see what that says like. These boards can take time to sort out, so basically that's how we do it, but it does take time, so I'll if I may link that together again, we should have a reasonable sounding amplifier. So if you excuse me, I'll do that now and we'll see what it comes up as. Right, well at this stage what I've did sorted the handle, by the way. The new handle was made. I went on eBay and I bought myself a lady's dress belt in red, of course, because the dress is red. And I took the old handles off the side, held inside by 2 screws and nuts. Whole lot came apart, and I took the old belt away completely and threw it in the bin. That's the old one. And then, of course, I then cut the side I wanted off the belt, built a handle with the remaining pieces that apart from the strap, and put it together again and put it in the set like so. So that now is a belt which we can use to carry the radio bit. Although I wouldn't recommend it with these sets, because of course, you know, with any set, because it's not something which I don't recommend people do. But anyway, that's just me. Now the knobs, of course, had no brights on. What I did here, can you see that? Yeah. What I did here, I'll put that out of the way. What I did here was I've got off eBay some knob brights and glued them in. So as you can see from that there, I now have knob brights on the radio as well. So we are nearly ready to put this together. They still have to dry. All the air from the 7 are okay, so I've left them. You know, so it's very close to being a working radio again. So in the end, it will be a worker, which of course it was when it was born. On the side here, by the way, there's also a socket for an aerial. Now this actually, in the years when this was made, the 1960s, put a radio in the car permanently. You had to have an extra license for it. So what they did was it put an aerial socket on the radio, so the aerial on the car went into this. This would therefore not been a burden structure on top of that reason. You got round it. Yes, and those is a radio in a car costs you money. Oh, wonderful times they were. Anyway, now of course, when that's dried, we'll pull the whole thing together, give it a clean, and we have a working a working Hacker radio again, made out of scrap bits. Right, the handle is on, the brakes are in place, and the amplifier is back in the unit. Now at this stage, we check the radio again, make sure it's still working.
A few adjustments.
It is, okay. So now, we can go and put the rest of the unit in as well, at the top there. And then of course, try it again to make sure. Then of course, put the back on. So, we're nearly home with this radio now. Nearly home. It's been you know, one of those sets, you know, that sometimes takes you further than have a right to, but you know, these things happen, so you know, these things do happen, so there you go. Got to get everything in the right place, wiring as well, and then look at where it goes in the chassis, and in it goes. At this point, of course, we realise that I'm not quite sure how it came apart. Funny thing is with radios sometimes is that getting them apart and getting them together again can be the hardest parts of the job. It's surprising, it really is, but sometimes it really is the case. There we are, it's in. Right, okay. So with that now in place like that, you get the screws from up here. That's 1, 2, 3, and the 4th one there, and we put them safely back in the set to hold the the chassis top unit back in place. That's the next thing. So in it goes, and then in it goes again. These screws, by the way, are hidden by the handle, so that's something to remember on these sets, or any sets of this kind. If you can't find out how to get the thing apart properly, move the handle out of the way slightly, and it's surprising what you might find is there, and what of course you then have to take out. It really is sometimes quite amazing what you find. Anyway, in it goes. Being careful not to touch anything you shouldn't with the screws, because it does happen. Again, that does happen. Where's that go now? It's there. It's funny, you know, this all of a sudden the world, isn't it? I mean, this virus seems to be everywhere and nowhere. We can't see it. We don't know where it is. But I might have it now for all you know. And you might have it now for all I know. Well, lots of what we got the news really is there, I'm sure, just to scare us. I'm sure of it. I know of a lad who's in his just 101, and he's in fact getting over this virus. Yeah, he's had it to get over it here in Bolton. So that isn't nasty news, is it? Nor are the fact that there's so many people recovered. Also, I also, and on top of that, by the way, just for reference, is that they do seem to be making it a lot worse than it is, and I do wonder precisely what else there is about this that we don't know about and aren't privy to know about. Having said that though, I've enough stuff here to keep me going and to keep the channels going. I'm sure people are watching this who have channels do as well, and so it's a good chance to get all the other difficult jobs sorted out, and I've got a couple of interesting ones coming up, so always if you like it, say so, and of course give it a thumbs up as well, because it helps me. Everyone says that, so I'm going to as well. Why not? But do please stop in, be safe. You've got elderly relatives. If they're suitably net savvy, you can look at them that way, or the phone, or the internet, or whatever. But don't go and see them if they're not, because it's not really a terribly good thing to do right now, is it? Right. Well, I'll put this over here. By the way, I put in these things in because at one point I might decide to move this down to PP3s, because these batteries are expensive, and you know, people say we should always use PP9s. I don't really think so with these now, because the difference between batteries then and batteries now is technology.
Right, and we had a message coming in from Sharon Potter on Twitter saying, "Oh, Danielle, you may need to."
Financial applications are different at this minute in time.
Really know his rationale for doing so.
Right, well, this radio looks to be almost done, so it's a case of well done, and on to the next one at some point very soon. You know, so batteries go in the right places, which is a bit of a challenge in itself sometimes. But although people do like these Hacker radios, I do think that they are very greedy on batteries. I mean, these things, they run at 18 volts on the amplifier stages, and that's a lot. You know, everyone's got their own opinion. Some people like these sets, some people don't. I must admit, I don't particularly. This one's okay, but some of the more recent ones, I'm not as struck, and I have to say that. But we've all got sets we like. We've all got sets we don't as well. So you know, if you like it, bend it, have it. If you don't, then don't. Because it's a free country still, allegedly, and of course a free country means that we're allowed to like and also dislike what you want, even with radios.
In many different cities in the UK, and it's sorry.
Well, I love it because the novel begins with Shan on a London street, and he knows criminals sailing by and harassed a mum with a...
Anyway, Be safer there, people. Don't go out unless you have to. Check up on your neighbours and stuff by phone. Any elderly people near you, check up on them as well, make sure they're okay. Don't hoard things. Don't panic buy. There's no need to. And if you're a shopkeeper watching this, there's no need to charge £18 for 4 Androids. Thank you very much. You know, that sort of thing is not good. It's not British, is it? No. So stay safe. Stay on the internet. Watch people like me do things like this and write about them and do them online. Comments, of course, yes, please. By the way, if there's anything you don't like, by the way, don't just put a dislike on and leave it. Say so. There are things in this which many people would change, but I don't. For example, the F117s. On this, they're okay. As the F117s are concerned, some are okay, some are not. If they're okay, then leave them. Leave them. I mean, the ones that have been in this have been in it since 1964, and they're fine. So they're going to stay that way. And if they're not, I've got more. And unlike the Robert sets, on these, they're easy to get to. That's one thing about these. So anyway, there you are, a Hacker RP17A, and it's came in here as a scrapper, and now it's a working radio. More on the way, of course. We'll talk soon, and we'll do more sets very, very soon. Until then, goodbye, take care, and as always, keep safe. And if you like it, say so. If you don't, well, what can I say? But one way or other, please tell your friends that I'm on, and that I do fix radios, and I also like to fix stuff. I'm a bit like Shango in that respect. I like to fix stuff that most people wouldn't touch. And I'm sure, by the way, Shango, if you're listening, I'm sure you'll sort that RCA TV8, because of course any set with a tube of that size will go in that with a few mods, I'm sure. Anyway, see you soon, and bye bye, take care.